Imagine seeing your best friend from childhood lying on a freezing sidewalk, homeless. What would you do? Karoline Leavitt thought she'd left her past behind. But one night, walking home from a charity gala in her designer coat, she spots a familiar face under a bridge. A face she hasn't seen in 10 years. A face she never forgot. Ethan, her childhood best friend. The boy who shared her secrets, her dreams, her family's summer vacations. Now he's a ghost, a stranger, a broken man, and Karoline's world cracks open. Karoline Leavitt was never supposed to be ordinary. Growing up in a mansion on the edge of town, her father was a wealthy lawyer, her mother a socialite. Ethan lived next door. His family, not so lucky. His dad worked construction, his mom cleaned houses, but money didn't matter to them. They raced bikes, built forts, and swore they'd be friends forever. Then, at 16, Ethan's life fell apart. His father died in a workplace accident. His mom couldn't pay the bills. Karoline's family offered to help, but Ethan refused. "We don't need your charity," he snapped. Words that still cut Karoline like a knife. The next day, he moved away. No goodbye, no note, just gone. Karoline moved on. College, a career. Now she's a top executive at her father's law firm, living in a penthouse, surrounded by people who only care about her money and her last Instagram post. But seeing Ethan that night, it changed everything. She kneels in the mud beside him. "Ethan," she whispers. He jerks awake, eyes wild. For a heartbeat he sees her, then he scrambles back, muttering, "Leave me alone. You're not real." Karoline's heart shatters. She leaves a wad of cash and her number. The next morning, she's obsessed. She hires a private investigator. She tracks his medical records. She digs, and what she finds terrifies her. Ethan isn't just homeless. He's been arrested 5 times in the past year. Drunken disorderly conduct, trespassing, resisting arrest. But the police reports don't tell the whole story. The mugshots show a man hollowed out, a man terrified. Karoline's pay finds a pattern. Every time Ethan tries to stabilize, something pushes him back. A mysterious man shows up. A job offer vanishes. A letter arrives with no return address. Stay silent or she dies. Who's threatening him? And why? Karoline's next move. She breaks every rule. She ignores her lawyers. She ignores her boyfriend's warnings. She drives to the address on Ethan's last letter. The house is abandoned. The mailbox has a single piece of paper. A name. Find Vincent. Karoline's stomach drops. Vincent was Ethan's father's boss, the construction company owner, who refused to pay for his death. The same man who sued Ethan's mom for recklessness after the accident. This ended with Karoline standing in the rain, clutching that paper. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "Turn back, Karoline. This isn't your fight." She ignores it, because she knows now Ethan's homelessness isn't an accident. It's a trap. Karoline tracks Vincent to his office, a sleek high-rise with marble floors and guards who know his name. She pretends to be a legal intern. "I need to speak to Mr. Vincent about an old case," she says, flashing a fake ID. The secretary hesitates. Mr. Vincent doesn't discuss closed cases, but Karoline notices a photo on the desk. Vincent and Ethan's dad, laughing at a construction site. They looked like friends. Karoline says sweetly. The secretary's face hardens. "Your time's up." That night, Karoline hacks into the city's old court records. She learns Vincent's company cut corners on safety. Her father's law firm handled the lawsuit after Ethan's dad died. But the case was closed fast. Too fast. The payout, a pittance. Why? Karoline whispers to her empty penthouse. Why settle for so little? She visits Ethan again. He's worse, shivering under a blanket of newspapers. When she offers help, he screams, "They'll kill you. Just leave." Then he whispers something she can barely catch. "Vincent knows what I saw." Saw. Karoline leans closer. Ethan's eyes glaze over, like he's not really there. "The machine. It wasn't safe. I told Dad. I told him." He passes out, muttering about a blue tag and blood on concrete. Karoline's mind races. What did Ethan witness as a kid? Something that implicated Vincent. She digs deeper. Old construction blueprints, security footage, and then, there it is. A photo from the day of the accident. A worker's safety harness, tied incorrectly, by Vincent's own hand. But before she can celebrate, her phone buzzes. A video pops up. Ethan being dragged into a van. A man's voice growls, "You have 24 hours to stop digging." Karoline's knees buckle. She's scared, but she's also furious. This isn't just about Ethan anymore. This is about justice. She finds the blue tag. Ethan mentioned a serial number on his dad's safety gear. It leads her to a storage unit. Inside, a journal. Ethan's father's handwriting spills across the pages. "Vincent forced me to sign a waiver. He said if I fought he'd ruin our family. But I kept proof. The harness was sabotaged. I have to get it out." The journal ends mid-sentence, covered in blood. Karoline's phone rings. Vincent's number. "You're playing a dangerous game, Miss Leavitt," he says. "Ethan's crazy. You're just like him, clinging to lies." She hangs up, then does the one thing she's terrified of. She calls her father. "Drop everything," she says. "Vincent killed Ethan's dad, and he's trying to silence us." Her father sighs. "Karoline, Vincent is a client. A big client. Then fire him. This could ruin the firm. What's worse, ruin or murder?" The line goes dead. Karoline doesn't wait for her father's reply. She races to the storage unit, clutching the journal. The blood stains on the pages form a map to Vincent's old construction site, now abandoned, overgrown with weeds. She steps inside, flashlight in hand. The air smells like rust and rot. In the corner, a pile of blue safety harnesses. One has the same serial number as the blue tag. She grabs it, but the floorboards creak. Footsteps echo, looking for this. A voice booms. Vincent stands in the doorway, holding Ethan's journal. His face is red, veins popping. "You think a little rich girl can take down a man like me?" Karoline freezes. "You killed his father. You're killing him now." Vincent laughs. "Ethan's a loose end. Always has been. But you," he steps closer, "you're worse. Your family, your daddy's firm made me rich. And now you're going to make him choose." He shoves her toward a door. "Go home, Karoline. Forget this." But she doesn't go. Instead, she pulls out her phone and starts recording. "You're wrong. I'm not like him. And this?" She lifts the harness. "This is proof." Vincent's smile fades. He lunges. Karoline screams, scrambling backward, until a gunshot cracks the air. Vincent staggers, clutching his shoulder. A figure steps from the shadows. Ethan, pale but fierce, a stolen gun in his hand. "Run," he rafts. Now, Karoline doesn't need telling twice. She bolts, hearing shouts behind her. When she looks back, police cars flood the lot. How? Ethan must have called them. But why? Days later, Karoline sits in a courtroom, watching Vincent's trial. The harness, the journal, Ethan's testimony, all of it's enough to convict. But as the judge bangs his gavel, Karoline notices Ethan in the back. He's staring at her, then glances at the door. A man in a black suit nods at him. Ethan mouths two words, "Not done." Outside, Karoline waits for him. He approaches, hesitant. "I'm sorry," he says, "for everything. Stay with me," she pleads. "We'll get you help." Ethan shakes his head. "Some ghosts. You can't outrun." He turns to leave. Karoline grabs his arm. "Who was that man in the courtroom? The one you were looking at?" Ethan's eyes widen. Before he can answer, a car screeches. A masked figure jumps out, aiming a gun. Ethan pushes Karoline aside. The shot rings out. The screen cuts to black. A text flashes. Ethan's last words, "Tell her the truth about the fire." The video ends with a teaser. Flames engulfing a childhood photo of Karoline and Ethan. A voice whispers, "You never asked why I left." Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.